Alright, so this is part 2 of what if Deku had Danny Phantom's powers. So quick quick announcement to say. Um Prototype and the Danny Phantom series are gonna be uploaded like every other day. So on the first day it'll be Danny Phantom, and then the next day will be Prototype, and then it'll go on like that, right? So I'm not gonna upload part 6 to that Prototype series today. It'll be uploaded tomorrow, and then there'll be no Danny Phantom tomorrow. Yesterday was an exception since there was a new series, and I didn't want people to kind of miss Prototype, so I decided to do a double upload yesterday. So let's get back into the what if. So last time we left off with All Might following Izuku home, and he shows himself to Izuku, and at this point he's never seen All Might in his Small Might form, so he thinks that he's an imposter. So then All Might reassures him, saying that he is the real one, and he asks him if he wants to be his successor. And Deku obviously gets on the floor and cries, and he says yes. And he's like, alright, but we gotta get you into UA, which is the best school in Japan for heroes. So we gotta train you. And then this is when Deku says, UA, I think I got a recommendation to go to that school. I would say he would get a recommendation because how powerful his quirk is. Because in the My Hero universe, all the quirks are kind of simple, but something like Danny Phantom's power, where he has multiple and they all like have a lot of good synergy, it's gonna give him like a big advantage. Like something like Todoroki, even though his powers are simple, he has 2, and that like boosts his power like greatly. So I would say that he would get a recommendation. And then All Might says, well, that's good, but we still gotta train your body so you could handle One for All, which is my quirk. So you might be asking to yourself, like, why does he need to still train his body even though he has a quirk? Well, his base form, his human form, is still not as strong, since he's always relied on his quirk, since his quirk has superhuman strength and all those other superhuman abilities, plus that what's it called, like his ghost ray and his like cryokinesis and all the other ghost abilities. So he's never really relied on his like pure physical strength. So what they do is that they do the similar training, the same training that they do in the anime, but they also mix in some training with his quirk so he could get used to it. So when it goes to the day of the exam, he doesn't go to the normal exam where all those robots are at. He actually goes to the USJ, where they do the recommendation testing. So when he gets there, he meets Todoroki, Yuarashi. If you don't know who Yuarashi is, he is the guy in the 3rd season near the end where they're trying to get their hero license. He is the guy who looks like M. Bison and has like wind powers. So yeah. He would also meet, I think, Momo too, if I didn't mention that before. And if you don't know Yuarashi, he would be very enthusiastic and very pumped for this event. He's gonna say like, I want to try my best, and he would still meet Todoroki, and he would still have that kind of grudge, since he had that encounter with Endeavor where he tried to get him to sign his like notebook, but Endeavor just wrote him off. So he would notice that it's Endeavor's son. But then I think Deku would actually would like kind of like follow like the atmosphere of the room and kind of like try to like cheer up Yuarashi. And since Deku's also like a fanatic of heroes, he would also have like this kind of like he would make friends with Yuarashi pretty easily, since they're pretty similar in that respect. But also, Yuarashi's like a bit more of a fan than I would say Deku, because Deku has like some restraint, but Yuarashi is like more enthusiastic, I would say. So they would have the normal race. Yuarashi would not. He would try to get better score than Todoroki, but he would also try to get a better score than Deku. But I would say, it'd be neck and neck between Yuarashi and Deku, since Yuarashi is faster than Todoroki in terms of that kind of race. And since Deku's able to fly and he's able to go intangible, there's no wind resistance to him flying. So anything that Yuarashi's able to do won't affect him, and he won't be able to see Deku until they get to the finish line, where Deku would obviously turn that off and make sure people can see that he's passing. So I would think that Yuarashi would like say, wow, that was a great race, everyone did their best, and he would try to like approach Todoroki, but then Todoroki would just ignore him, and he would get pissed off like he does in the anime. But Deku would be there to kind of like calm him down and kind of like bring him back to like being like calm and like happier. So he would talk to Deku mostly, since he would be more approachable and he would be more friendly than Todoroki. And I think this kind of interaction that he would have with Deku would actually not make him not make him have to go to the other school. I think Yuarashi, after having this encounter, would go to UA instead of going to their sister school, I think. So after what is it, like a week, it's the first day of UA. Deku goes into class, sees Bakugo. He has his feet on the table. Ida's there and says, you shouldn't be doing that. And Bakugo is like, all right, fine. And he takes off his shoes, because in this version, since he wasn't praised as a kid, he's not that narcissistic and that overconfident. So he grew up with a more normal childhood, so he wouldn't have that idea that he's the best, because there's other people who have better quirks. So he has some humility compared to the canon Bakugo. And then this is when a girl comes through the door right behind Deku, and this girl's actually Ochako. And you might be saying, like, how did she make it in if Deku wasn't there to save her and she didn't get any of those hero points? Well, I would think that in this one, since Deku is not there during the exam, I think Ito would be the one who would try to save her, since he's the fastest. But instead of like taking out the robot, since he's not that powerful to do it, he would try to move the rubble and run as fast as he can, even using his reciprocal burst. But then he trips on some rubble, but instead of face planting and almost dying, I guess, I don't know if he would die, but it's almost like a car crash basically, Uraraka would use her zero gravity effect on him, so he wouldn't instantly he would like slow down his momentum. So I think she would get some hero points for that, and so would Ida. So she would barely get in. And then this is when they have a conversation, because how Uraraka is. It's like, oh, she would introduce herself. She's like, oh hey, my name is Uraraka Ochako. And Deku would turn around kind of nervously, since he's still the shy person, but isn't like ostracized for not having a quirk. He turns around and says, oh, I'm Izuku Midoriya, or Midoriya Izuku, since it's like Japanese and like it's first. And then he noticed someone in the corner, and he noticed him back, and it's actually Yuarashi. Since he encountered Deku and didn't have that experience with Todoroki, or that experience with Todoroki didn't leave as much of a mark on him as it did in the anime, I would say that Yuarashi would be in Class 1A. So it'd be the normal Class 1A just with one extra member, which is Yuarashi. And that's when the guy with the sleeping bag comes in. People don't know who he is, and they think he's been up for like a week. And he announces that he's his homeroom teacher, and that he is Aizawa. And he says, "We're gonna test your quirks, and the person who has the worst score will get expelled." And people would be like, "You can't do that." And he's like, "Well, I've expelled entire classes, so yeah, I could do whatever I want." So they would go out to the field and do their test. For the test of strength, I don't know the limit of how strong the ghost form should be. I would think that it would be more than 500 kilograms. So Shoji wouldn't get number 1 in the strength test. For the race, I don't, since it's like a shorter than like the race in in the test for the recommendation, I would think that either, it's kind of hard to tell who would be number 1 in this one. It could be Yuarashi, but it could also be Deku at the same time, because they're very close into speed, and I don't know who would have a faster acceleration, so it could go either way. So it would either be number 1 Yuarashi, and then number 2 being Deku, and then number 3 would probably be either Ida or Todoroki, and then 5th, I think, would be Bakugo. So yeah, I think it's a pretty close matchup between the two in terms of speed, because we don't really know the limit of the speed for the ghost form. And this is when we get to the ball throw. Uraraka would still get infinity, so she would get 2nd place. Bakugo would get still around the same as he got last time in the anime. Deku, I would think he would get further than Bakugo, since he has super strength in his ghost form, and he has that ghost race to help him out, so I could put a little bit more firepower into his throw. And then I think Yuarashi, since he has wind power, I would think it would go further than Deku, since he could control how the wind is around the ball. So I would say 1st place Uraraka, then Yuarashi, then Deku, and 3rd. So I would say that Aizawa wouldn't really want to suspend everyone because of how everyone did so well. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm sorry if this is a shorter video than the last. I'm just trying to get I don't want to extend it and make it like too full. I just want to have a complete part. So yeah, if you like this series, comment below, tell me what you want in this series. Like I said before in part 1, this what if doesn't have any of the characters or places from the Danny Phantom universe in this in this what if, so he can't meet Danny or anyone like that. So comment other what ifs that you want me to do, and if it's an anime, if it's another anime power and stuff like that, I would have to do some research, like this one for Code Geass. and another one for Ajin, I think it's pronounced. I'm not sure, but I haven't watched these two animes, so I would have to do some research. I would have to watch some of the episodes to actually get a full idea. Like, I'm not sure what Gios is. I know I've seen like a video about it. It's like powers that it's like a power based off your like most desired wish or something like that, and someone gives you the powers, and it's like called code or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I would have to do some research before I do some of these what ifs. But that Rimuru one, I might do it later, when I have a general idea of how the story should go. So yeah, just comment below what you want me to do, what you liked about it. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.